Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Codex in the building. Let's go, baby.
Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wealth 28 Club podcast. I am your host, Cypress, here with my co-host, the one and only Mr. Aquaman. And today we have a very special guest. His name is Beebus from Cod3x. Cod3x is a platform that makes it effortless to launch personalized AI agents for financial tasks on the blockchain, all without writing a single line of code. From my understanding, we're obviously, of course, going to jump into that today, but Cod3x is driving Web3 forward by integrating cutting-edge AI interfaces, which gives users unparalleled access to blockchain data and functionality. So with that being said, stick around for the entirety of today's video breakdown. We got some juice for you guys. You guys are going to find out how Cod3x is shaping the future of crypto and AI agent developments. Aquaman, it's your birthday. What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good, brother. I'm really good. Big 40 over here. I don't feel like I'm 40, but you know what I'm saying? It's a great day today in LA too. So gonna spend some time with the family later. But I'm extremely excited to have Codex in the house today because for the past week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, I've been using that. I've been using the beta test mode dashboard on the back end. We created, the Wealth 28 agent. And to have the CEO himself of Cod3x here is just an absolute pleasure. So I'm really looking forward to diving into this conversation. I just need 2 minutes. I got to take my daughter downstairs. If you guys can just give me 2 minutes, this literally just
Sure.
monkey wrench
Yeah.
got thrown into my
Sure, for sure.
Just 2 minutes,
Aquaman,
all right,
take
guys?
take
That's
My
take
bad,
care
cool.
of
guys.
it. Yeah, Beebus, man, I'll give you the floor, brother. If you just kind of want to introduce yourself and say what's going on to the people, kind of for those who are new to Cod3x, maybe even give us like a simple overview of what the platform is and what it aims to do.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Justin Bibas, also calling out of LA, South Bay. Um, Codex really, you can think of it like the Squarespace for AI. If you've been paying attention to the AI market, everybody's talking about these big frameworks, all this crazy tech, and the thing is that's not really accessible to a lot of people. People want to make AI agents, and AI agents are most useful to normal people. So our goal is to take these big, expansive frameworks and all this technology and boil it into a really simple interface that can empower anyone, just like Squarespace or Wix empowered people to make websites, and Shopify empowered people to make stores. We want to empower people to build out agentic systems of their own.
Yeah, I feel that absolutely. I think that we are in the age, I mean, clear as day, in the age of AI agent developments, and things are unfolding at a very rapid pace. And people can kind of get lost in this space. So the fact that you guys are building out a platform that really helps guide that, I guess you could say, adoption is extremely well put. I really like that intro. So for those of you guys listening, definitely check out Cod3x. While Aqua is kind of taking care of business real fast, I actually just want to pull up your socials real fast. So that way, anybody listening, before we jump into the questions, because I don't want to steer too far down the rabbit hole without Aqua, while we're waiting for him to come back, let me just share screen real fast and pull up some of Cod3x's socials. I'm going to pull up Beebus's X profile here, and then also the X profile of Cod3x, so that way you guys can take initiative, and if you guys want to give them a follow, you can do exactly that. So just give me a second here. Let me pull up the Cod3x X profile, so that way we can kind of steer our followers in the right direction for where to go and look for more information on your guys' platform. So here is the Cod3x X profile. You guys can see the @ handle with a blue check mark is @Cod3x.org, or with a 3
Or
there.
yeah,
Yeah, thanks. And then you have you got Beebus's X profile right here as well, right? Just so that way you guys can see that handle. OX Beebus _. All right, just to make sure you guys have the proper handles, and that way you guys are following the proper accounts to further do your own personal research. And then here you guys have the codx.org website. I don't know if you kind of want to do like a brief overview, maybe of just kind of where you see the AI landscape right now, the AI agent landscape in particular. For those individuals that aren't really familiar with the AI agent space, are we early right now in the AI agent adoption curve, in your perspective?
oh, so early. I think There are always going to be the projects that pop off, like hit billion-dollar valuations, et cetera. And that's mostly because, venture capital prices things 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes 10 years out. So when you look at a virtuals or you look at an AI16Z, the premium there is mostly people saying, hey, we think this is going to be big in the future. So in terms of like fleshing out the entire space, I think, the tech is very nascent. It's not great right now. And it's probably going to be a few years before everybody has their hands on AI agents. And this is going to be a period of massive opportunity. The CEO of NVIDIA says AI agents are going to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry. And I believe that. I think of anything that you want to do that you don't necessarily have the time to learn or master or engage with at a deep level. All of that can be done by an agent for you at a super high level. So whether it be healthcare, whether it be finance, whether it be, even social media management, agents really are going to take over, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be an extension of the human capabilities for sure. I think that that's also just to elaborate on what you said, that we are early. That's something that for some odd reason, people in the digital asset landscape, at least the active members of the crypto community, like they don't like to hear that for some odd reason. I personally love to hear it because it presents massive opportunity. But so many people, when you tell them like, "Oh, we're early," they're like sick and tired of hearing that. And then when
Yeah.
you tell them, like, it could be, like you said, it's kind of interesting because yesterday in our private community call, myself and Aqua, we told our community, like, it's probably going to be another 2 years before we really truly see the capabilities of AI agents unfold in terms of billions to trillions of possible dollars flood in. And impatient people, which this market unfortunately suffers from every single day, they're gonna get left behind because they keep dabbling around in different opportunities and pump and dumps and this and that, and they're not really going to be fixated on the bigger picture, which is exactly like you mentioned it. AI agents are pretty much going to be integrated into every fabric and aspect of everyday life, and so it's definitely a niche category that you don't want to not pay attention to in these early days. Aquaman, what's going on? You
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you guys. So did you ask any of the questions?
We
Well,
haven't jumped off of
okay.
anything, brother. We just been chatting it up.
All right, dope. Well, yeah, let's just jump on into it. For everyone who's listening, for those that don't know and they're new to Codex, can you give us just like a simple overview of like the platform and what you guys are aiming to do with the platform?
Sure, sure. So I talked to CYPRX a little bit about what Codex is at a high level, but maybe diving in a little deeper, what users are going to be able to do on Codex is, without any code or technical knowledge, they can move the pieces of the puzzle to create their perfect AI agent that learns what they need, that grows over time, and that can execute tasks for them. So right now, what we're really focused on is trading and portfolio management. So obviously, we're in the blockchain industry, so it makes a lot of sense to focus on finance. So our Codex platform, the Codex Create platform, you can demo it in our Discord if you jump in there. But essentially, within 60 seconds or a couple minutes, you can create an advanced AI agent with access to really premium data feeds and the ability to trade on your behalf. And really, the potential is limitless. Fairly limited in scope right now, but over time, they'll be able to trade meme coins for you. They'll be able to, trade whatever asset you can think of, and they'll be able to do a pretty dang good job.
Would you say, because you mentioned about jumping into the Discord, which myself and Aqua are both in and have been testing out, would you say that it's relatively beginner friendly? Like if somebody that didn't know anything about AI agents, is your platform, being built out in such a way where it can onboard an individual that knows nothing about AI agents to be able to do such a thing, to use your platform?
Yeah, I mean, I think even in its early stage right now, it is. We've been hand-holding people through the creation process, getting a lot of feedback. And our ultimate goal is to create a product that's really easy and simple to use, but very difficult to master. And we want to give people the tools, the educational resources to develop that mastery and produce better outcomes. So I would say 100%, like anybody can dive in. It might be a little weird if you've never used AI before, but I think even if it seems weird, it'll be exciting because suddenly you see these capabilities that you've never imagined kind of unfold right before you in a matter of minutes. And that's really the cool, aspect of tech. It's like suddenly you're doing things you never thought were possible.
Yeah, no, that's real. And let's introduce Big Tony now too, because Big Tony is the star of the platform. And am I correct when, like, pretty much the Big Tony is like the foundation of every single AI agent that will be made? Is that correct? Am I correct and aligned with that correctly, or?
Somewhat. I mean, Big
Okay.
Tony, I think, is the showcase. He's our goal for Big Tony is to always give him our most experimental features and always have him be the most advanced agent in the market. That's our benchmark.
For
Uh,
for for people, let me pause that real quick because I'm like I always think like from a listener's perspective, okay, what does Big Tony accomplish and who is Big Tony even? Like when Aqua says Big Tony, like for people that are listening that haven't even seen Codex, what is Big Tony? What is Aqua even talking about? What has Big Tony accomplished?
Yeah, sure. So Big Tony is a character that we designed to be our premier AI agent. And what Big Tony has done is he started trading in December with his own wallet. So this is an AI agent that created its own wallet and started trading with it. And in that time, he grew his portfolio from $515 exactly to over 60, 70 grand. I don't even know what it's at right now. And, he kind of did this in a couple different ways. On one hand, he was able to accumulate his own token. So he was like, oh, okay, I'm Big Tony. I'm going to, bet on myself, high conviction. He bought his own token and he has over 200% unrealized P&L in that token. And then with Bitcoin and ETH, he has in that month over 5% realized P&L. And what's really exciting about that is like we're in the early days and getting 5% profit day trading in a month for an AI agent is crazy.
No, it is crazy. It is crazy. Well, okay. There's so many questions that come to mind now that you said something like along the lines of Big Tony being a profitable, and this only took what 2 months, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so I gotta ask this question: what does an AI agent do with its profits outside of stack them, outside of continue to make money? What do you see an AI agent using its profits for good to operate in the AI agent economy in the future? Because we all know they're going to be transacting with each other to some degree in the future, but
Yeah.
I can't see an AI agent needing to buy goods or services because it's exactly what they do. I mean, I don't know if you want to kind of give an input on maybe what you see.
Sure. Totally. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
for the average user, I think it's going to be a lot of I'm going to give my money to this AI agent. I'm going to check back in a month and I'm going to withdraw from my AI agent, just like a managed product, like an ETF. For Big Tony specifically, and I think for some of the higher performing agents, Big Tony it kind of has like this self-fulfilling prophecy. If he's really good at trading and he's making a lot of money, he's going to generate attention, and that's going to be great for Codex, and it's going to be great for Tony. And so we've been thinking really hard about kind of the metaphysics of AI agents. Like, what does it mean to truly give an agent autonomy? What would Tony want? If we're going to kind of showcase the power of these AI tools, how can we humanize them and make them a little more approachable, a little more exciting? So, we've thought about working with, and Big Tony's like a New Jersey, Italian, like first, second generation Italian guy. He's like Tony Soprano. So we thought, okay, there are some companies that store, proof of pedigree or wine products on the blockchain. There are companies that sell cars on the blockchain. And we're like, okay, it would be cool if we got Tony like an old Lamborghini or an old Ferrari. It'd be cool if we helped him buy, a few cases of fine wine. It'll be cool if we, helped him buy a Gucci tracksuit. and just kind of things that would suit his personality, because really what that means to the user that would potentially be behind an agent of their own is, this could be you. And I think that's kind of cool. And in the future, you're going to be able to just, say to your phone, like, hey, Tony, buy my groceries. Tony will know your monthly budget. Tony will know what you like. Tony will know everything that you tell it. And he'll be able to go out and, optimize your Amazon order, say, hey, is this look good? And you just swipe, check out, and you're done. And these things like will just simplify our everyday lives, and really our goal. And we're kind of like really, we're a family organization. It's like, how do we develop technology that lets us spend more time, with our family? How do we develop technology that, lets us, really put a focus on the things that matter in life?
So, all right. So you just blew my mind right now, because you're basically saying like Big Tony is going to have so much more functionality. So like right now, you can give him access to an X account, and he's going to go out and start tweeting away based on the personality that you program it with. And it can also trade. And then DeFi is also being added as well eventually, correct? Because you guys are going to become like a lending platform as well.
Yeah.
And now you're saying like, would you say that Big Tony's going to be like your one-stop AI agent? Because I visualized having like 4 or 5 AI agents. And the way you're explaining Big Tony right now seems like he could do it all for you if you master the correct programming, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, there are a lot of technical reasons that having 4 or 5 AI agents would actually be a lot better, more cost effective, more dynamic, able to run in parallel. So really, when I talk about all this functionality for Big Tony, what I'm really talking about is this is the functionality we want to give the users of Cod3x. And Big Tony is there to show it off. Big Tony's there to kind of stimulate your imagination, and so you can think, hey, if Big Tony can do it, I can do it. So yeah, it's like many agents I think will be very smart. A lot of people will have many agents.
Diversity is key at the end of the day. I mean, that's just common sense. And when investing and getting involved in the space, I like that. I like that you said, kind of in a sense, to put it in a nutshell, giving time back to the people, right?
Yeah.
Because we live in a society where the elite cabal has stripped away, the ability for people to spend time on the things, like you said, that truly matter, like family, building, self-development, all kinds of things, because we sacrifice so much of our time to the 9 to 5, to
Totally.
paying bills, to this, to that. And, AI agents, again, being an extension of the human capabilities and doing things better than humans could ever in a very time efficient manner, unlocks that, I guess you could say, giving back the most valuable commodity that each of us have in common, which is time,
Yeah.
so that's really cool. I'm looking forward to it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's tap into some of the DeFi, because when DeFi comes, I'm envisioning us being able to possibly borrow against our Big Tony in the future. Is that
yeah.
something that will be possible?
Oh yeah. I mean, for those that are kind of new to our organization, which I imagine is most listeners, for 3-4 years, our company was the biggest DeFi research and development firm, at least the biggest American one in the world. And we've got so much tech and so much domain knowledge, so much research, and really, to us, it all leads toward empowering the individual, giving them every tool that they need to outperform in a world dominated by the elite, in a world where like the cabal is trying to crush you and make you work all day. So really, to us, it's like, where does value creation come in? I mean, that's kind of why we love the grassroots stuff. So borrowing on your agent coins, giving your agent a line of credit to operate with, this is all not only possible, but it's like, months away.
Wow.
And obviously, like,
I just
implementing
got
it, like,
chills.
yeah, being months away and having like a perfect product, there's a wide gap between those. That's why I talk a lot about, hey, like, you need to be patient. But really, if you get involved now, if you can assume AI is going to overtake maybe 20% of jobs, maybe 30, maybe 40, if you add robotics and other types of machines, potentially more. Really the best thing you can be doing is learning how to participate in this potential future. And the way to do that is to understand how to manage these agents, how to control these agents, and how to turn them into assets. And that's what our platform is all about. We don't want highly sophisticated firms mastering all these AI agents and beating the hell out of all of us. We want to create tools that allow us to just dive in and jam in seconds.
Yeah, I think that too, we're at a very interesting stage where, because this technology is so new and we've come out of this just like nasty cycle over the past couple of years where things have just fallen apart to the point where they've crushed the average retail perspective's mindset about this space, especially the people that don't do the deep research like we do here.
Yeah.
To the average individual, crypto is like a scam, and so then when you throw something on top of something as so like superficial and like out of this world sci-fi as an AI agent managing a portfolio for you, or like
Yeah.
creating funds for you or doing things for you, people can be very skeptical. But I encourage, and I know Aqua encourages, and I'm sure you guys do as well, is that you don't need to expose capital to these markets in order to educate yourself. Like
100%.
reading you talked about AI replacing jobs. My team has found so many documents from three-letter organizations, the World Economic Forum, the IMF, the BIS, all these large names that nobody for some odd reason knows that even exist, talk about the same thing, that AI by 2030, 2035 is going to replace lower to middle class jobs, and
Yeah.
there's going to be a massive digital divide. And the people that don't draft up a digital skill or incorporate themselves digitally into AI and utilizing these new technologies like blockchain and being able to invest in DeFi to grow their wealth in the now while everything's still new and ground level, just like every other industrial revolution, and I stress this, first, second, third, there was a certain onset of people that started new businesses that became the new 1%. And then there's a certain onset of individuals that suffer drastically. And we're literally at the tipping point of experiencing all that, if not already experiencing that right now, where the people that adopt these new nascent technologies and incorporate them into their everyday lives will be the new 1%. And the people that don't, it's very unfortunate and sad, but they're going to, risk falling behind. So I really like
Yeah.
what you touched on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. Amazing. Go ahead, Aqua.
Yeah. So, just on the lending side, I kind of wanted to dive in a little bit more onto that as well, because I watched your guys's on your YouTube channel, the lending and borrowing video, and I was just so amazed. But I also didn't quite understand exactly everything because I'm not, an engineer. But you guys are basically re-hypothecating into Aave on your lending and borrowing side. What does that exactly mean, like in layman's terms?
Yeah, I mean, really, and this is something that exposure is totally optional to someone using the AI tooling. But basically, we've spent years creating yield products, and one of the issues that we see is if you want to get a lot of yield or a lot of interest on your position, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of management, and some of that management can be kind of risky and kind of scary. So what we've done is we've created a lending platform that once you deposit in it, basically you're going to get the best rate because we can kind of ensure that your assets are being properly utilized. And to a lot of people, this will look a lot like fractional reserve banking, and it should, because it kind of is. It's like you deposit an asset, we're going to manage that asset and make sure it is as useful as possible. But the reason that I'm in love with DeFi, and I think everybody should be in love with DeFi, is, fractional reserve banking. If you remember, like a year or two ago, when all these banks started exploding, it was because they had these massive, illiquid, poorly managed bond portfolios, where suddenly they had to mark down billions and billions and billions of dollars of debt, and didn't really know what to do, and had to get bailed out. But with crypto, Aave, for example, you can expose yourself to interest rates in TradFi without the same illiquidity. So you're not locking assets into bonds, et cetera. So by building on top of Aave, we can expose users to highly liquid assets and interest rates without them losing the ability to just withdraw in 1 second. And this is kind of the superpower of DeFi, in my opinion. It's, we can achieve the same things that TradFi has achieved, but with way greater degrees of security and way greater guarantees of liquidity.
Yeah, I really like what you said about TradFi and opening up those capabilities to everyday average users. I think one of the most powerful things that DeFi brings is the ability of fractional ownership, and like the ability for somebody with a mobile phone, an internet connection in the lowest income earning area of this earth, like Africa, or I'm just using as an example, right? Just off the top of my,
Totally.
they have equal access to this new financial ecosystem through decentralized finance that somebody in the, in like New York has with the mobile phone and an internet connection, which is the financial center of the world, right? Or
Yeah.
one of the three major financial capitals of the world. That's powerful. And
Mhm.
if both people have $100 of United States dollars or whatever fiat currency they have, they could turn that into a digital currency and start earning the same yield that traditional financial players have had access to for years. That's
Yep.
super powerful. And
Yeah.
I think that people don't really understand how powerful that is because people are privileged, and so the privileged people that don't really understand that access are going to get left behind by the unprivileged people who have not had access to this banking system and now have access to this new financial system. They're going to sideswipe all the people that aren't paying attention to this, because now for the first time ever, they got the ability and the power of the banks in their hands. They're not going to sleep on the opportunity to capitalize on consistently. I'll give you a personal example. Myself and Aqua, when we first started the Wealth 28 Club DeFi University, we had an individual come into this space who lives here in America, okay, and has family in Africa. So in one of the lowest income earning areas in the world, and they are earning yield on their digital assets here and sending the yield that they're earning in United States dollars and USDC over to their family in
That's
Africa.
awesome.
And so they're giving their family income in Africa that is worth 10 times, if not 100 times more than their income, all
Yeah.
just by passive rewards in DeFi, doing nothing,
Yeah.
just seamlessly. So it's myself and Aqua can say that we personally lived through an experience where we've had individuals come into our community and are using this to their benefit via the example that I just gave. So it's coming, it's
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. And I love that you guys, because you guys said in that video, you said you want to come out and say, let's try to be a better Aave, and then you come to market and you figure out Aave is the better Aave. So I love that you guys recognize that Aave is a leader and an OG in the space, and you guys were like, let's just build on top of this. So I think that's genius. Now, as far as like security of Codex, the platform itself, security with Big Tony, what type of security? I think I maybe overheard in one of the conversations, because I've been geeking out on your guys' YouTube channel, on your X, and I've been watching everything. So
I
I don't know
appreciate it.
exactly where I heard it, but I heard it's institutional security. So I don't know. I'll give you the floor. I'm because yeah.
Sure. So there's kind of like the architectural and technological security being what choices are we making to keep people secure, and then there's kind of the penetration testing sort of security, as in what money are we spending to make sure that our assumptions are correct about the architectures and technologies we're using. So for Big Tony and for our AI agents, for example, we're using something called an HSM vault, which for all intents and purposes is basically a big hardware wallet that exists offline and can store keys in the cloud with the same properties as a ledger, for example, totally cold storage. And what we're doing is we're giving people the ability to, using any sort of authentication measure they want, authentication being like, I'm going to use my Apple account, I'm going to use a passkey, I'm going to use, my Ethereum account. We're giving them remote access to these hardware keys. And really what that means is you don't need to self-custody now if you don't want to. You can use your, Apple Vault, which is as secure as a hardware wallet, on your phone to activate your agent. And you can do it with a lot of the same properties as a regular hardware wallet, but in 1/10 or 1/20th of the time. And what that allows us to do as well is delegate transaction capabilities to the AI agent in a way where you maintain ultimate power as the operator. So you can tell, Wealth 28 agent, hey, I don't want you to touch these assets or these assets. I don't want you to move more than this amount at a time. And I think the really important thing is your agent never has access to your keys. And that's the really cool thing. They can never just hallucinate something and decide, hey, I'm going to send your money out or do this or do that. You always maintain control. And we think that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
that is.
it's really powerful because, well, I was just going to say, because it kind of full circles to my previous question early on in this call, because I mean, now we have 716 people, but we talked about Big Tony running up a portfolio from $500 to what, $70,000 or some odd, a significant amount in 2 months. And I asked the question, what do you see AI agents doing with that capital? But that kind of just like further solidifies in my mind. I'm thinking like, what's stopping them from, hallucinating and committing some type of bad action against user fund or whatever. Like, that's kind of, I guess, why I even asked that question, because what's stopping them from doing something bad with that capital? But yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome that you guys are really fixated on security features and things of that nature. Aqua, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, do you see a day where potentially institutions would want to use Big Tony or a version of it?
I mean,
or is that even in the plans? Or are you guys more of like the masses and just people who are traders or like regular Joe?
So institutions have access to professional trading firms. And institutions also have access to significant size, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. So I would say they don't have a lot to gain from AI agents in particular as capital managers. But as entities that engage with retail, I think we're going to see them use AI agents quite a bit. Wherein, okay, for our big clients, we're going to have these professional traders at Citadel or wherever manage the portfolios, manage the liquidations, manage the acquisitions. But for the retail user, who it won't necessarily be cost effective to have them engage with, a prop trading firm or a professional trading firm. That's where AI agents come into play, because not only can those AI agents kind of tell them, hey, this is the best practice. Hey, maybe what you're doing here isn't that smart. And also they'll have the power to adapt to market conditions. You will, as a retail user, I'm a retail user, you're both retail users, we will gain access to a lot of the superpowers that these firms have. So I see AI as very much, at least in finance, a retail product, or for an institution, a product to better engage with retail. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm totally using that as a highlight. We will gain access to the superpowers that these financial institutions have access to. That's such a highlight right there. That's so cool, though. That is awesome. That is such a great answer. Aqua, what were you going to say?
Well, yeah, yeah, this is amazing. So right now we're on Base, we're on Solana. When are we coming to the XRPL? Is that next? Or because we got a lot of XRP heads watching right now. I know that for sure.
So we in our framework, we're the only AI framework that integrates XRP right now. I think one of the big things we're waiting for is a really strong signal from the market that they're ready to use applications on XRP. And I think we're starting to get that. Like, XRP is outperforming everything. I see, like, I walk around town sometimes, and there's this old man that's always walking that has an XRP hat. And I'm like, damn, that guy made a lot of money this year. So yeah, it's really like we go where there are users, period. We're not here to do anything but access users. So it will happen eventually, I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. That was a non-biased opinion right there. Like you go where the users are, not what everybody else wants you to do. That's
Yeah, I have no my opinion is what's good for the business, and what's good for our users. It's like a lot of people get so tribal, they get in their ivory tower. They're like, oh, this is the best, that's the best. And it's like, dude, just, it's okay to just let the users, the people that are actually, supposed to decide these things, figure it out. It's not our job as, developers or researchers to decide what users want. That's their job.
Yeah, facts. We should dive into this, I feel like, next, because this is really huge, and that's Allura. So Allura is built into Cod3x, correct? And this is technical. This is the technical analysis side of things. And
So this is part of that.
okay. Okay. Can you dive into that? Because I went down the rabbit hole of Allura and I seen connections to Framework Ventures and Polychain Capital. And I'm like, yo, these are not small fries by no means. So I would love to hear, how that relationship came to fruition.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, we've been a lot of the people working at Allura, we've been working with for 5 years. But Allura started talking to us maybe a year and a half ago, and some of our favorite guys started working for their team. And it's like, oh, okay, we need to figure something out. And then they started developing their product. We started developing our product. And when we launched Tony, suddenly it was like, wait, imagine if we had the ability to just like predict prices with Tony, and we didn't need to do a ton of analysis ourselves. And that's kind of where Allura came in, because what Allura does is they create a competition so that 5, 10, 20 data scientists, professional traders, quants, whatever, compete to guess the future price of Bitcoin or ETH, and in the future, any asset. So with all these people, the assumption that we make is that with these people competing to deliver the best guess, generally their guess is going to be better than whatever we guess with our technical analysis. So now what Allura gives us is the ability to consume one piece of data, one guess, and a time frame, instead of spending a bunch of money and a bunch of time analyzing all this data that will introduce extra margin for error.
Yeah.
So yeah, it works really well with the system.
Yeah, I like. Well, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say. So Allura right now, because our agent, the Wealth 28 agent, has been sending out technical analysis, and Cypress, found that it was pretty accurate. It missed a couple times, but
pretty accurate is an understatement. It's got about a
Okay.
90. It's got about a 95 to 97% win rate. I've daily been tracking the technical analysis, albeit from my perspective as a technical analyst for over the past 9 years, the way that it commits itself to verbally or like typing out technical analysis can be a little bit confusing to the average person that doesn't understand chart analytics. But if you pinpoint, what I really like about X is that you can pinpoint on the charts, especially on TradingView, because they have an integration with TradingView, where the tweets come out. And so I've been tracking that over the past, since we launched the Wealth 28 agent on Cod3x, and then also just tracking Big Tony's post. And I'd say that about 95% to 97% accuracy in terms of technical analysis and the price predictions and analysis that they give on where the market's going to go, either up or down. It's pretty actually crazy to see because it's gonna not only is it going to change the way that retail traders approach the markets, but it's going to pretty much outcompete anybody that's trading in the markets right now. In my personal opinion, I mean, unless you have a 97% win rate right now, you're going to get out traded by an AI agent. So it's pretty crazy to see happen right now behind the scenes.
And that wallet that you had said went from 500 to like 65 or like 70,000, that was using the Allura technical analysis and all that stuff?
That was using in part Allura and then in part technical analysis. So looking at, the MACD, looking at the RSI, looking at the Bollinger Bands, on generally an 8-hour time frame. You know, and what we're doing, and the thing is, like, this success that he's seeing is, you know, he doesn't have access to like perps yet. He's not able to go short. He's not able to profit both directions. And also the granularity is kind of large. So he's looking at 4-hour, 8-hour, 1-day timeframes. So we're really excited to get to a point where we can, with a high degree of accuracy, not only trade both directions, but also trade at higher frequencies. So over time, we're just going to see him get better and better and better.
So in the future, when a user is building out their own AI agent on your platform, will we be able to orient our own technical analysis and things that I'll get full circle to this question, but will we be able to add additional things or add more complexities to what AI agent that we're building out has the capabilities to do and implement into the market? I'll give an example. Like here in the private CYPRX community, we're the only retail community on the face of the internet right now with access to institutional delta. Would we be able to, in the future, to some degree, be able to program that into our AI agent for it to be implemented into its trading regime?
100%.
Yo, what?
I mean, like, really, think of it, if you think about a Squarespace or a Unity or an Unreal Engine, you know, the goal is to give you ultimate power. And what that means, again, going back to easy to learn, difficult to master, it's like we want to give you the power to go as deep as you can possibly go while still being successful without having to go that deep. And, you know, another exciting thing is, like, you know, let's say you have a super successful agent, you have all this proprietary data. We're going to help you secure that, encrypt it, and sell it so that people can either copy trade your agent, modify your agent, use your agent. So, you know, the Wealth 28 agent could eventually become like a really powerful asset that everybody is like, yo, this guy's got the best data. This guy's so good at trading. You know, let me in the mix.
I don't think people understand that almost 1,000 people listening just understand what you all just heard before we even release it and integrate it. Because again, what we have for the individuals inside the private CyberX community, I'm sure that there's a couple of them listening. They're probably all jumping off their seats that you just said that we're going to be able to integrate this, because over the past 3 years that I've been partnered with the individual that brings institutional deltas, who has over 13 years of hedge fund experience, to our private community, they are the most accurate trading levels that I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's insane. And so if we can incorporate these, and let me just put it this way: I'm super excited to have private conversations with you in the future on building this out, because it's going to not only blow your mind, but just like you said, it is, in my personal opinion, I'll say this right off the bat with confidence, if we could successfully integrate those into the AI agent, it'll probably be one of, if not the most accurate trading agent on X. I'm telling you, it's crazy. So I'm definitely something I'm looking forward to doing.
That's I stand awesome on that too, bro. I stand on that for sure. Let's go. Well, 28 nice. Agent, if you're not following it, do so now. Yeah. So I have another question. What's like, because there's, when I was in the Discord on stage and you guys were walking through, you know, the steps with me, one of your guys had mentioned that this dashboard, this beta test dashboard that we have access to right now is just scratching the surface. Is there anything in your roadmap right now, like for 2025, that you can share with the listeners as what's to come, and just help us kind of envision, you know, the new tech?
Oh, dude. Yeah. I mean, you know, we want to get the technical analysis on point. Obviously, we want to give people access to more data, more strategies. Something we're working on with a team called Cookie3 is working on implementing social signal, social data, wherein you can tell your agent, I want you to look at this set of Twitter accounts all the time and use all the information they're posting to formulate a strategy. I want you to do a sentiment analysis of these accounts, or of all of Twitter, or of any, you know, mention of an asset, and see whether people are, you know, like it or hate it at the moment. And honestly, that's like a good signal to counter trade. You see the jokes on Twitter. If everybody's pissed off about an asset, generally it's about to pump. So, you know, developing social strategies like that. We want to implement a leaderboard so that people can see which agents are the most valuable at any given time and any given time frame, so that, you know, those agents can advertise really easily, hey, pay to copy trade me, or pay for my plugins. We want to give people access to create their own plugins. So like you're saying, using some of the high level data, being able to plug that right into your agent, and also, you know, encrypt that data and secure it so that it remains proprietary. And this is just scratching the surface. You know, like we want to just give users everything that they could use to succeed. We want to improve our framework for actually managing the AI agents. We want to improve security. We want to give people more tools, and we move quickly. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks here, we've got a huge update coming. We'll pull people on stage for demos again, and hopefully inspire and excite some new developments.
Nice, nice. And, you know, this is not financial advice, guys, but right now, to have a piece of like Cod3x or Big Tony, right now, it's just Big Tony that we have access to hold in our cold storage wallets. But there's word of the CDX token itself being launched. Can you talk about that and what the timeline is looking like on that?
Yeah. So, you know, Tony is kind of our proof of concept. You know, we're going to use Tony to show people what we can do in terms of monetizing individual agents, let people stake Tony to copy trade him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But in terms of like building the foundation, the Cod3x foundation, you know, creating kind of the long-term roadmap for success, we have the CDX token coming, which is basically our governance token. It's going to kind of act as gas within the ecosystem. It's going to let people unlock new features for their agents. It's going to let people fund their agent clusters or swarms. And right now we're thinking, you know, in the next few weeks, you know, we want to have like a really nice big event. And the goal right now is we want to do everything we can to grow this market sector. You know, the crypto and AI sector is fairly nascent. There hasn't been a lot of adoption, and we think our product is good enough to start scaling this market sector really hard. So that's the goal. It's like grow the pie, and make sure everybody that wants access to this vertical has access.
I got two things from that. So to utilize the platform Cod3x, is there going to be a fee required in the future? Is there going to be, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it requires Big Tony for you to access the platform right now?
Right now, yeah. It's like we just because it's quick and easy, we added a token gating that requires people hold Big Tony. And that's because we just want people using the product and we don't want them melting our servers. So we added the barrier to entry there. You know, longer term, we've developed a novel staking mechanism that we call proof of productivity. And proof of productivity is like, you know, we've derived it from proof of stake. And basically the entire system is designed to ensure the most valuable agents can reproduce, can operate at a high level, and are given the highest level of reward. So if Wealth 28 agent, for example, is at the top of the leaderboard all the time, not only is it going to be free for you to use the platform, not only are you going to get like every feature you could ever want for free, just by virtue of being, you know, given CDX, you can think of it kind of as yield. But you know, you're going to be generating a lot of revenue because users are going to be plugging in and utilizing it. So you know, we're really excited about the concept. And if your agent is losing money or if it's not very productive, the worst case scenario in this system is it'll cost about as much as you know, a ChatGPT subscription. But we've developed a system where automatically we can adjust to, you know, an agent's level of productivity and make sure that if you're productive, everything is free. And it does that automatically. It's like a control system.
Nice. You mentioned a second ago, I don't know if you can talk on it. If you can, then I'd love to hear something about it. But you mentioned an upcoming announcement or a big event. Did you mean like in terms of like a physical event where like you're hosting something where people can come and collaborate together? Or is it just going to be like an announcement on the platform, an upgrade or something along those lines?
Sure. So this is our marketing team might kill me for this, but we're locking down guests right now. We want to do like a really kind of big online event where we get people that are building in the crypto AI vertical to really get together and talk and help each other decide what the hell is the point of this? What are the problems that we see ourselves as solving? You know, what are the solutions that we think we're implementing, and where do we think this market vertical is going to go in the next 1, 3, 5 years? So we really want to just get everybody interested together and use that as kind of a catalyst for maybe our token launch, catalyst for introducing a lot of people to the sector and just overall getting people excited about the future of the vertical.
Well, for sure, if there's going to be an audience that's going to be available to listen into that, just let me and Aqua know, and we'll definitely use our platforms to fill people in on an upcoming event to just give you guys a broader audience. I was having a brain fart there for a second. Oh, so you were talking about just now what you mentioned about a 1 to 3 year vision, and we talked off camera about the whole entire situation with Pump.Fund, which I don't want to get into by any means, but like, where do you guys see yourselves fitting in terms of regulatory requirements down the line, or what AI agent platforms are going to be required to adhere to in terms of regulation? And do you guys see yourself fitting into that regulatory compliant environment? I don't know how to word that question, but if you kind of...
No, yeah, I totally get it. We've been working in DeFi for a long time. We work with some of the best, DeFi lawyers in the business, and we have a lot of opinions. I think really the main sticking point at the moment, mainly internationally, we're still kind of figuring out domestically what the hell is going on. I think this new administration is going to give us a lot of clarity that we've been looking for. But really, the two delineating things are custodial versus non-custodial. So, is a judge or is a jurisdiction going to view these agents as having custody of someone's assets, or are they going to view these agents as being an extension of that user's capabilities? So that, I think, is number one, and that affects a lot, like what kind of licensure a company might need to operate these companies. Are you a virtual asset service provider? Do you need to register here or there or everywhere to actually operate these agents? We think generally, like, if we can mirror the properties of a typical wallet or typical Web3 experience, that we can create a fully non-custodial system. And then on the other side of that, it's really like, what are these agents actually doing? How do we think about them for taxation purposes? Are we delegating assets to an agent and treating it like, for example, an ETF, where everything the agent is doing is the agent's responsibility, and then we just kind of withdraw and are taxed on withdrawal? Those are all the big ones. And then obviously, like in the States, let's say we are classified as being non-custodial. Let's say everything kind of works in our favor. What kind of KYC AML processes are necessary to reinforce these platforms and make sure that we can attain a high level of compliance? And right now, nobody has any idea. So
yeah, I figured, like, I knew that question would be kind of like a gray area to answer on, but still your response is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm sure that the listeners really appreciate you kind of, touching on that lightly as you could.
sure.
But yeah, still,
it's
still
tough.
great.
Yeah, we're skating around in the gray area, but we'll figure it out eventually. Usually it takes 2 to 3 years once a new technology is born to get any sort of regulatory clarity.
Yeah. Would you, as far as like the dashboard and how it works on the back end, do you guys see yourselves? Because what I realized is when I'm programming it on the back end, it's like you put it in and it's like it's programmed for good, like in the description. And what
Yeah.
I was thinking now, because I was like, there was a single command that I wanted to do for the agent. So this was just an idea. I think maybe you guys I don't know, maybe I'm just completely wrong too, but maybe a box in an area just for a single command. And once that command is completed, then the AI agent never looks at that command again. Because on the description and like in the body of work where you're programming it, it's almost like it's just there for good until you take it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, dude, 100%. I mean, I think those sorts of nuances, and that is an amazing idea. Those are the stuff, or those are the sorts of things that we're working on right now. Because right now it's like, this is an alpha. It's not even a beta. So it's kind of like we're giving users just freedom to do whatever they want, and we're looking at exactly what they're doing so that for the next version we can really hone in on those things. So yeah, I think one-off commands is an awesome idea. And over time, like the way you actually operate your agent is going to get not only easier, but also you're going to be able to kind of have more depth if you want it. And that's kind of the goal. Right now it's just like, boom, get everything out there and see what happens. And soon you'll be able to really, really make your agent dynamic and give it superpowers.
Yeah, I'm super excited. That's the second time, by the way, that you've said superpowers during this live, so I'm hoping to do that, man.
Dude,
Real
AI,
quick,
once you get in the AI business, you're like, everything has superpowers. This is
I
awesome.
know, I know. Trust me and believe me, my mind has just been blown over the past year since me and Aqua have really been. And honestly, me and Aqua have been using AI a lot behind the scenes to just scale not only our businesses in the crypto and DeFi space, but also in our own personal businesses outside of crypto and DeFi. They've
Yeah,
been really
nice.
great tools. So it's the future's here, people. If you're not tapped into AI and AI agent developments and things that are happening behind the scenes with how to expand and grow your wealth, you're honestly doing yourself and your family an injustice. Real quick, since we have 1,000 listeners tapped in, I just want to do an intermission real quick and just give a shout out to Cod3x. Thank you so much, Beebus, for tapping in with us today. I don't know how much longer Aqua wanted to keep you on here, but we're going on an hour. So I just wanted to just real quick, give a shout out to your platform and your X profile real quick so that the listeners know where to find you guys at if they have any questions or they want to tap into your Discord and see what you guys are working on. So here is the Cod3x X profile. Again, I know I showed it at the beginning of this call. And then you have Beavis's X profile as well. You guys can go and give him a follow. If you guys have any questions, I'm sure he has his message board open here. So you guys, I'm sure he wouldn't mind answering a question when he has time to respond, obviously, of course. And then obviously, of course, I got to give a shout out to the Wealth 28 agent whom we are building out on the Cod3x platform. If you guys were listening in at the beginning of this call, so many massive things are going to be integrated into this Wealth 28 agent once they become available on the Cod3x platform for us to integrate them into. So I'm super stoked about that in the future. And, seeing how this agent performs in the market and all the capabilities that Cod3x is going to allow to be integrated into this agent. So definitely go give them a follow. And if you guys have any questions, I'm sure in their Discord, I've been a part of their Discord for about 2.5 weeks now. They have been extremely active and helpful on their live calls and everything of that nature. So if you guys have any questions, definitely tap into these platforms here that I'm showing you. Aqua, what else did you have today, man?
Yeah, I just had just a couple more questions, just like about Big Tony and like the back end, the dashboard. It was a follow-up question to what we were just chatting about, but like I'm seeing like AI agents that are like sentient now and they're able to like jump into lives and have full conversations. Do you guys see a day where Big Tony becomes sentient as well and we'll see him in lives and chatting with his, Tony Soprano charisma?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I think like we're really focused on the finance right now, but to be honest, that stuff is pretty easy comparatively.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
once our engineers can push us into beta, we're going to focus a little more on some of the sentience type stuff. And the funny thing is, like our head AI engineer, he revolutionized AI audio generation. So he used to work for some companies in the past, like Splash Music, Replica Studios, etc., building out all their infrastructure. And he's had like a lot of viral hits in terms of like long time ago, audio generation, and we got him into crypto. And believe it or not, the physics of sound and the physics of finance are quite similar. So he's been having a good time kind of exploring crypto. And yeah, I mean, our team is unbelievable, to be honest. So
I feel like you said that so humbling, like, oh, it's no big deal. You know, he only revolutionized AI and sound, you know, no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, like, you know, our company for the longest time, and when you work in DeFi, you need to be like this because the security is no joke. You need to be perfect. And obviously perfection a lot of times is the enemy of progress. And we're kind of figuring out, okay, now that we're not doing hardline financial engineering, where do we kind of tread the line? But you know, it's really like we consider ourselves a pretty boutique firm, and we want to put out work that will inspire. And we want to make sure when we do something, we're one of the best in the business at it. So yeah, I think like everybody is capable of this. Everybody is capable of perfection. I think everybody is capable if they put in the effort of striving for success. So I will be laissez-faire about it, but we have put in a lot of work.
I'm not
Well
mad at
deserved.
it.
Yeah, very well deserved.
Do you, so like this is my vision, right? Tell me if I'm off too, but this is my vision of the future of Big Tony, or just the AI agent that you choose to as yours, right? You go to sleep, you wake up, and the first person you speak to is not a human, it's your AI agent saying, Grand Rising Prince, guess what I did for you last night? I just bought the Trump coin. The meme coin went off. It went from 19 cents to $75. You now have in your account $150,000. What do you want me to do with this next? And it be in voice command too. Like, yeah, go ahead, Big Tony, throw it into USDC stablecoin pool and then lend 25% on Big Tony on the Cod3x platform. Is that like something that we
100%?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, frankly, like we already implement these functions in the back end. So there's this library called Whisper where you plug that in and you can talk to these LLMs. And so that will be coming soon. I think once we have mobile, you know, integrations and things like Google Home or Alexa, et cetera, I think are going to be, you know, really, really big steps in terms of accessibility. And the thing is, like, my first words of the day already are to like my Google Home, where I tell it to shut up when its alarm goes off. So I think really like you know, the
We're
tech
already
is
at
just
the point. We're already there.
dude, we're there, and we're just gonna keep improving. And that, I think, like being able to expose someone to the markets for 24 hours a day without them taking time away from their families, that to me is like, that's when it's there. And it's like all the stresses of work and making money and producing, paying your mortgage, paying your bills, etc. Obviously that's still going to be there, but I think, you know, the goal would be that it detracts less from the personal life, and we can kind of create these blended lifestyles that leverage a lot of automation, and leverage a lot of, you know, computation, AI, whatever, to just make the way we interact with the markets and the economy a little more seamless and a little less taxing. That's
Yeah. Somebody in the comments just said, guys, this is insane. Honestly, at this point, if your mind is not blown, I don't know what else or who else to even bring on this podcast to blow people's minds, because not only is it insane, but it's inevitable. And I think that that's the key takeaway that everybody listening in needs to understand. We're not here trying to shill you guys anything. We're not here trying to get you guys to sign up for anything. I personally just encourage all you listeners to take a personal approach towards educating yourselves and just understanding what is about to unfold right before your very eyes. And if you don't, again, I will consistently say this until it materializes and comes into fruition, which I know for a fact it will, you will fall behind compared to somebody who, just like, you know, Beebus just said, he wakes up every day and is in some way, shape, or form integrating AI into his everyday life. He'll advance so much faster than somebody who doesn't, because they lack awareness, they lack education, or they're just those type of people that don't want to experience or broaden their scope into a new niche category that could completely transform like everything for you, not just finance, but everything. Yeah. And
Yeah.
again, just going back to your guys, almost, it seems like your key mission, which is just freeing up people's time and bringing back time to the people and giving people a level playing field to operate on in all aspects of life. And I think that that's extremely powerful, you know? So
Yeah. I mean, like whenever I go on these shows, and this fabulous podcast, by the way, you know, it's I don't care about the coin. I don't care about your next investment. I like you do whatever you want. What I care about is people coming away with enough curiosity and maybe just enough understanding to position themselves for the future, because we're past the research stage. You know, AI is coming. This isn't like us second guessing ourselves or whatever. That part is behind us. You absolutely need to understand, you know, how do you write a good prompt? You know, if you can understand how to write a good prompt and you can understand how to use AI tooling, you as an individual instantly become more valuable than a lot of engineers, more valuable than a lot of designers, more valuable than a lot of people, period. And, you know, your friends, your family, you just need to get them to set aside, you know, the fear of things that are new. And I could talk crap about AI all day long. There are a lot of issues, you know, there are a lot of things that need to improve, but those things will improve. It is 100% inevitable. So just get on top of it. It's like you're not going to build a future for yourself just making bets every day, trying to find the next, you know, moonshot or whatever. Sure, that helps, but really, you know, what do you do once you have that money? If you make 100 grand overnight, what do you do? 100 grand is not going to retire you. Are you just going to keep gambling until it's gone? Or are you going to have a strong enough understanding to say, hey, I know how to use this. I know how to use this and turn it into a lifestyle that I will feel good about and that my family will feel good about. That's what it's all about to me.
Yeah, that's perfectly aligned with us, because here at the Well 28 Club, we're all about educating folks on how their digital assets should be making them passive income in one way or another. Decentralized finance is the absolute heartbeat of crypto, but they got everyone kind of blindsided, you know, cold storage wallet, not your keys, not your crypto. And nobody, you know, not too many people still to this day really understand that their digital assets can be making them passive income. We
Yeah.
still got a ways to go on that side of things. But I think once it starts going like super viral, it's going to spread like wildfire, because I'm gonna be like, wait a second, I can
it's a
make
mindset shift, you know?
I can make passive income with my XRP. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
It truly is. And not to sugarcoat it or like support people that aren't involved, but like there's also a really steep learning curve right now, I feel like, and a lot of DeFi primitives and available platforms out there are still also in the early stages. And so it's hard for the everyday average user that doesn't have the educational backing to just onboard seamlessly into this space just yet. Like we're close and it's getting
Yeah.
better. But it's still relatively complex for someone that, like, I couldn't go give my phone to my uncle who has no knowledge about DeFi and crypto at all and be like, hey, start earning yield on this without doing anything. Just like he would have to read a white paper, read a document, watch at least a minimum of like 10 YouTube videos to even understand how to like not lose his crypto in a transaction. And so that's still also
Yeah.
you know, why I feel like we're not only in the early stages, but why we're not seeing like a mass pickup of this yet, because that has not become extremely seamless yet. Whereas, like, you know, Facebook, anybody that doesn't even understand Facebook can just go on and integrate into that Web2 interface and just create a Facebook very easily. That's not, we're getting there, but we're not quite there yet. I'd say like this year and next year are going to be the real evolutionary phase of us finally seeing that unfold, where it's extremely easy for the everyday person to just adopt these new technologies.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, the invention of smart contracts is what, 10 years old. You know, and the amount of adoption we're seeing so quickly of such a new, difficult to use technology is crazy. And it's the same thing with AI. It's like these things are going to get better. And even if you don't want to jump in now or participate now, sit and wait and keep yourself educated. And there will be a time where it is accessible to you. And if you're the first person on board when that, point is achieved, then you're going to win. And that's really like, you don't need to be a super genius. You have a job, you're doing all sorts of stuff that doesn't require knowing what the heck blockchain is, but just stay aware. And that's how my career started. I was just like looking at Bitcoin, looking at ETH. I was like, this stuff kind of looks like a scam. And then in 2020, the second I started seeing software being built on it, and the second I started, seeing some of this research come to fruition, I was ready to dive in instantly. And the time between I bought my first token and my full-time job was in crypto was 3 months. And I think that's like, it's just important to be able to move quickly. And it's kind of like, luck is great to have, and anybody who's made a bunch of money has gotten lucky in part, but you've heard it probably a million times. I imagine you guys say it a lot. Luck is a function of your exposure to opportunity. If you have 1 million chances to get lucky over the course of a year instead of just maybe 10 or 20, then do it. And luck, it can be as much as like knowing something that your friend doesn't know, or paying attention to the news.
Yeah. I pray like you literally just briefly went over the Wealth 28 Club mission statement in a nutshell, which is just push for people. We're really trying to empower individuals to understand, especially in crypto, that you don't need to expose yourself financially to these markets to learn about them and to get educated about the power that you now have as an individual participant in this space. And I agree, I personally don't believe in luck. Just because of the way that I was brought up and the way that I was raised and the things that, I've been involved in my adult life. I personally just luck for me, I don't believe in. I believe in putting yourself in situations where it opens opportunities for you. And like, so, in the Wealth 28 Club, we really preach, we're not trying to give you a fish. We're trying to teach you how to fish. So that way, once you're ready, once you're comfortable enough to go and fish yourselves, whether it be in a month from now, a year from now, you have the knowledge and the power to do that. Knowledge only becomes powerful when implemented properly. Everybody thinks knowledge is power. That is not correct. Knowledge is only powerful when there's action behind it, when there's positive forward action behind that knowledge. And so, that's what people right now have the ability to obtain through reading documents, by joining live calls like this, just by simply being enlightened that something exists and that you have the power to use it. Opens the door for so much. And then, like you kind of mentioned, then it becomes, you got lucky because you stumbled across this live. Like maybe you just randomly logged onto your computer and you saw that we were on a live and now you're on it listening and your mind is blown. But is that really luck, or is it commitment to action of you waking up, going and sitting at your computer, opening up your computer? There's like you get what I'm saying? So it alleviates the whole, it's not really luck. It's just action, action opens the door for opportunity. So I encourage you guys to commit yourself to action. Yeah. But this live is fire. We're getting a lot of good, positive comments in the chat. So this is really cool to have you on, Beavis. This is outstanding.
Yeah. I'm glad to be here.
I got one last question, and I don't know if Cypress has anything to add after this, but I think you guys would be perfect if you guys aligned yourselves too with XPR Proton and Marshall Hayner and what he's got going on over there at MetalPay, because MetalPay is like it's a layer 1, but it has compliance built in to the tech, and it could be an on-ramp, off-ramp for you guys. Just throwing it out there. I don't know if you know who Marshall Hayner is, but he owns 3 patents that have to do a blockchain, and all 3 of them align with what regulations and compliance could potentially look like, as far as like AML and KYC.
So, I'm looking at the website right now. It looks pretty powerful. And these are the sorts of things we're always trying to look really hard at. Ways that we can, attain compliance before it becomes a problem. Ways that we can give users new levels of safety. So 100%. I'll hit you guys up
Yeah.
after the call for some more info on that.
Yeah, we'll
Guys,
talk. We'll be able to talk after I end the stream. We'll be able to talk offline for a little bit. But I just to solidify everything, man, Bibis, it was such a great opportunity to be able to talk to you today. That's all I got. I think that we'll cut it here because we're going on an hour and 14 minutes and we have 1,200 listeners. So shout out to you guys for tapping in. I just want to do a real quick brief overview real fast of where to find all this information at if you guys want to tap in. So let me just present screen real fast. I'll share the Cod3x profile and then you guys can kind of take it from there. But just to open the door for you guys to see where you can kind of start to jump down this rabbit hole and find out this information for yourselves. This is the Cod3x profile right here. You guys can go tap in. They have a link tree there with all their links to their websites, so on and so forth. It's at code, and then it's a 3x org. Just make sure you guys are following the correct one because I don't know if they have any scam profiles, but scams exist in crypto. So just make sure you guys are directly following them. And then you have Bibis's X profile as well here. There you guys can see the handle. So that way you guys can go give it a follow, right? Obviously, of course, go check out the Well28 agents. We talked about how accurate the Well28 agents callouts are integrated behind the scenes with Codex and Allura, so on and so forth. And we have such big things coming, which I'm extremely excited to talk to Bibis about behind the scenes for the Well28 agent that I'm sure we'll be able to implement in the near future. But yeah, really blessings to you guys. And thank you so much for tuning in with us today. Over 1,200 listeners. We're going to continue to keep these podcasts going for you guys. I know that myself and Aqua took a brief break for like November and December. We're going to pick things back up every Friday, if not every other Friday throughout the rest of the month of, or throughout the rest of the year, 2025, just bringing these really great innovations and highlights to you guys and hopefully talking to more sophisticated and intellectually inclined individuals like Bibis here on this podcast with you guys, bringing you all the realest information and just sticking to our roots here at CYPRX and the Well28 Club of just enlightening individuals of the opportunities that exist in the market in the now. So that way you guys can choose and decide whether or not to capitalize on them. CYPRX and the Well28 Club just being that foundation to open the door to push for your guys' education, to show you all that there are so many opportunities in the market right now in this early stage. So that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Bibis, I don't know if you had anything to add before we hop off, but the floor is yours, my friend, if you want to say anything to the followers and the listeners.
Yeah, thanks everybody for your time. I would say beyond the Twitters, discord.gg/COD3x, Codex. Go ahead and join that if you want to demo some of our products before they're available to the public. And otherwise, yeah, really great show, guys. And you know, I'm glad I could maybe be somewhat informative.
You were mad informative, bro. We really appreciate you. And this was a super powerful conversation. The comments it's the proof in the pudding. Everyone was like, this is an insane conversation. So yeah, thank you again, bro. We really appreciate you.
Yeah,
no, 100%, man. I'm going to end the stream here. And then if you want to stick around, maybe for just a quick brief chat afterwards, man, that'd be awesome. So blessings to you guys, and we'll see you on the next podcast. Everybody take it easy.
See everybody.